we got a brand new update from the official Square Enix blog on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it contained a ton of information, new characters, details about locations, summons, battle details, and a whole lot more. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe button for all Final Fantasy news to come, because it seems like every day now we have a ton of it, and you're not going to want to miss any of it. So starting out, we have this beautiful image of Calm here. I mean, guys, look at this. This is absolutely gorgeous. It makes you wonder just how big this world is going to be. Seeing it on this hill here, I mean, it's just incredible, right? It was always a cool looking location in the original game, but to see it fully realized like this and it just be so gorgeous, dude, it's absolutely incredible. It makes me wonder how big this game is, what the vibes of this open world is going to be like. I'm just really excited. So the blog starts off by saying, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth launches in just a few short months on February 29th, 2024, and we're excited to be able to show you more about what to expect. But before we look at where we're going, what about where we've been? We've just released a story so far recap video, which will be viewable from the game's main menu. Narrated by none other than Red 13, it tells the events of Final Fantasy VII Remake, perfect if you want a refresher ahead of the new game, or plan to dive right into the series with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Take a look. Now, unfortunately, this was not the 17-minute CGI trailer that was promised by the rumor that was on the Korean forum. Instead, it's 5 minutes of mostly in-game footage that's been edited together. This isn't the worst thing in the world. It's just unfortunate as it doesn't really stand out next to any other video game sequel recap, and I was thinking by doing that cinematic that they talked about in the rumor, it would have helped bring some new people in. That being said, Square says you can start with Rebirth, watch the recap, it'll get you caught up, but honestly, if you haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake, you can get it pretty cheap now, and I recommend go ahead and giving it a playthrough if you want to check out the re-trilogy. Then the blog gives us looks at regions of the world. Let's take a look at a couple. First off, we get Calm. I will move myself over here just so that we can look at it and read the text at the same time, and it says, a halcyon hamlet kept safe from the outside world by a sturdy stone wall. Though it lacks a reactor of its own, it thrives thanks to a steady supply of Mako piped in from the metropolis of Midgar, which is visible from atop the town's famous clock tower. Again, Calm just looks absolutely baller, and I think it's going to be so much more fleshed out than it was in the original. We've already kind of seen that from a lot of the footage so far. It just looks good. I love this. Next thing, we get a look at the Mithril Mine, and it also looks very gorgeous. Scroll down, let's see. A once bustling mine that connects the grasslands with Junon. Though once prized for its rich mithril deposits, the quarry fell into disuse after Shinra developed a superior mineral of their own, and the miners that once worked its tunnels have been replaced with monsters. Next, we have a look at new characters. The first new character is Broden. Guess he a bro then. Owner and operator of the inn at Calm, he bears a grudge against Shinra and offers to help Cloud and friends escape their would-be corporate captors. His gaunt appearance may be due to his recent bout with an unknown illness. Could this man be suffering from geostigma? Honestly, I have no idea if he's suffering from geostigma or not, but generally, whenever you think of diseases and Final Fantasy VII, you usually think of geostigma. That's usually where your mind goes first. Though it could be some attempt at putting geostigma earlier into the story, I'm under the assumption that it's just some illness that's unrelated. And the next character we have is Rhonda, mayor and sheriff of Under Junon. Her home, once a prosperous fishing village, fell into decline after Shinra constructed a military fortress overhead, and a deep-sea Mako reactor offshore. Despite Cloud and Friend's status as alleged terrorists, Rhonda still allows them to pass through her town. Next character we have here is Priscilla. It is dolphin time, boys. It says that Priscilla is a young girl who lives in Under Junon, often seen swimming with the dolphin that she trains. The offshore Mako reactor has contaminated the surrounding waters, and Priscilla fears for the safety of her dolphin friend and other aquatic creatures. I'm kind of impressed by how good the dolphin actually looked in a lot of the gameplay that we saw. You know, throughout the remake project, we've seen a lot of precious moments recreated, but somehow, seeing the dolphin and seeing that scene and how they reworked it David in some of the gameplay clips so far has actually been one of the more impressive moments for me throughout the entire re-trilogy thus far. I know it's kind of an obscure moment, but I feel like it's such a wacky, very specific FF7 moment. And for them to really get the vibe right and to introduce it again, change up elements that make it a little bit more modern, it's really cool and it looks really good. And it just reminds me of what I'm excited about with this project. Then we got our boy Billy, the grandson of Chocobo Bill, owner of a Chocobo ranch in the grasslands. Having lost his parents at a young age, he and his sister were raised by their grandfather. This young ranch hand kindly offers to teach Cloud & Company the ropes of Chocobo wrangling, on the condition that they patronize his sister's shop. Then we have Chloe, Billy's younger sister. She runs a shop on the ranch where she sells crafting materials and other curios. Warm and kind-hearted, she engages politely with Cloud & Company and is grateful for their patronage. At the same time, she is worried about her brother's fixation on making money. If I'm not mistaken, she is also the NPC that we'll be going to learn about the Queen's Blood minigame, which is a brand new card game for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It seems this game is Final Fantasy VIII pilled. And I'm not just saying that because of the card game. There is another feature from Final Fantasy VIII that's going to be making a return to Final Fantasy VII, so stay tuned for that. Then we get a look at combat with Red 13 and Aerith. We have Red 13's basic attacks here. This is a really awesome scene here. Red 13 slashes at foes with his sharp claws. Hold down the button to unleash a wide range of attacks that help build ATB quickly. This is just really awesome. You know, they did a great job of animating his attacks and making them look cool. He's just so acrobatic in the way that he moves. It's really cool. Then we have Red 13's abilities. It says here that Red 13 boasts a vast array of skills, from lightning fast physical strikes to ranged magic attacks. Stardust Ray conjures an exploding orb of light that scorches all foes caught in the blast. Then we have his Vengeance mode. Block incoming attacks to fill the Vengeance gauge and unleash that energy to enter Vengeance mode, enhancing his physical attacks and his evasive prowess. Siphon Fang delivers a powerful blow while absorbing some of the enemy's HP, all without expending ATB. Our boy is going to be so OP, and honestly, this is a really cool mode. You know, you already have a close range attacker like Cloud. This is going to give Red 13 a lot of differentiation from any other close range melee characters. So if you're really good at blocking oncoming attacks, you can focus on that with him and then unleashing his Vengeance mode. With Aerith, we have Ward Shift. Aerith can instantaneously warp to any sigil she's created, allowing her to move about the field with ease and maximize the impact of her magic. So you're going to have Aerith warp striking around the battlefield. This is really cool. She's honestly a very useful character in the first Final Fantasy VII Remake game, if you really know how to use her kit, and I'm really excited to see what they do with her here. The best part about this game too is that you're going to have the freedom to really control your party and a much wider range of playable characters too, so the party configurations and what you're going to be able to do in this game, possibilities are endless. Combat synergy abilities. Synergy abilities are powerful attacks in which two characters team up to turn the tide of battle. More abilities will unlock as you increase the party's level, a numerical expression of how closely knit your team is, and deepen the affinity between party members. Fill the synergy gauge by using abilities, then unleash a synchronized assault. Here are some examples. Dude, this shot of Cloud and Tifa doing this attack together is amazing. It's called Relentless Rush. Just this 360 blur that's happening right here between the two, pretty awesome. Cloud launches Tifa toward an enemy to attack in tandem. Barret and Red 13 have one as well, and it's called Overfang. Barret sends Red 13 flying toward an enemy at high velocity. Amazing. My man and Lab Rat Dog are working together. So then we have combat synergy skills. Two party members can team up to activate useful abilities without consuming ATB. These commands can be executed while blocking and provide a wide array of beneficial effects. Each pair has their own unique set of abilities. Some deal damage, while others offer support. Here are some examples. So Cloud and Aerith have one called Spellblade. Gather strength, then team up to unleash a charged magical attack. Barret and Cloud have one as well together called Mad Dash. Team up to charge forward while guarding against incoming attacks. Activate in sequence to trigger a 3-hit combo. So again, the importance of party configuration is so crucial in this game, and I love that. I love the emphasis on party members. Next we have summons. Setting summon material will grant access to the power of the gods. A conjured deity will follow the player's lead and fight enemies automatically. quickly, but you can also instruct them to use special abilities. Before they depart the battlefield, summons will unleash one final attack that will wreak immense havoc. And here we get our first look at Kujata, a bovine deity that charges around the battlefield, wielding the power of fire, ice, and lightning. It throws foes with its enormous horns and unleashes magical attacks that strike even distant enemy weaknesses. This is super cool. Man, it is incredible to see Kujata realized in this level of graphical fidelity. Holy crap. I can't wait to see the other summons. Kujata bounds towards foes with reckless abandon and manipulates its elemental affinities to deliver magical attacks. Blazing Horn launches a concentrated burst of fiery energy at an enemy, blasting them back. Kujata unleashes Tri-Disaster just before leaving the battlefield, a powerful wide-range attack imbued with powers of fire, ice, and lightning, sure to hit many foes right where it hurts, and potentially wipe them out. Then we have World Intel. Chatley enlists your help deepening his understanding of the world. As you explore various regions, you'll uncover new areas rich with treasures and natural wonders. Data points accumulated in your travels can be spent to develop useful new materia. Then we have the proto-relics here, and it's really interesting because this shot here almost looks like they're lined up in the traditional 3-man ATB system. Like, it looks like if Final Fantasy VII Remake was turn-based, this is like what it would look like. I think this is just what it looks like because they just started the fight and they're just all right next to each other conveniently in this line. But for a second, it does look like it's what the game would look like if it was true ATB. Proto-relics are artifacts of unknown origin that emit a unique energy signal. These elusive antiques are hidden throughout the world, but with the aid of activated Renema wave towers, Chadley should be able to point you in their direction. Be warned, however, they seem to alter space-time and are known to cause strange phenomena. So there's objects just sitting around the world now that can alter space-time. Don't worry, guys. I'm sure that's just a red herring. Nothing too significant, right? Jokes aside, this yet again emphasizes that this is some type of time traveling-ish journey, as Final Fantasy VII Remake seems to have a huge emphasis on time and potentially time travel. Adding this into the lore is extremely consequential. In fact, there's kind of no way that it isn't consequential. What this will mean going forward, I have no idea. Materia development. Let's go. Assisting Chatley with his world-spanning research will allow you to accrue data points, which can then be spent to develop new materia. Some offer access to spells of multiple affinities, while others grant the use of unique abilities, all of which are sure to prove useful against even the most formidable foes. And here you have some really interesting materia, like fire and ice materia, which again allows you to combine materia of two different elements together. And I'm also going to be really curious to see how they design fights to take advantage of these hybrid materias that have multiple elemental affinities to them. It's going to be really awesome. And we have Choco Boutiques. Chocobo ranches are also home to Choco Boutiques, stalls at which you can freely customize and recolor your bird's equipment from head to talon. Gear will impact its performance in Chocobo races, so find an ensemble that suits your style and go for the gold. Really interesting that gear is going to determine the Chocobo's speed in races. But from a gameplay loop perspective, it does make a lot of sense. Now here is where some of the really exciting news comes in. Now, just like with Final Fantasy VII Remake, you can choose between active and classic. Cool to see classic mode returning, but I don't really think it's a feature that too many people use, but I like having it there. Again, you have the return of the slanted Buster Sword in the menu, but here is where things get interesting. Ends of Final Fantasy VIII, easy difficulty allows people to focus on the story rather than battles, while normal provides a reasonable challenge for most players. In the new dynamic difficulty, enemies grow stronger as your characters do, perfect for players who crave constant challenge. So with dynamic mode, as you play through the game, enemies are constantly going to get harder, and the world will scale to your level. This will allow the game to constantly provide a challenge, though some people aren't huge fans of this design philosophy in an RPG, as it does somewhat punish you for getting stronger. It means that leveling up up and playing smarter will just result in a game punishing you for it. However, I think if they implement it properly, I think it will allow the game to constantly give you a challenge appropriate for you. Again, this is something they tried before. They've done it with something like FF8 before. I'm really hoping that this is the time that they can really get it right, and people praise it because Final Fantasy VII Remake's hard mode was absolutely incredible. It makes me wonder if there'll be any kind of additional difficulty mode after you beat Rebirth. Last, and certainly not least, we have a re-render of Aerith's key artwork with the Highwind in it this time. It was honestly kind of funny back in the day when they released this key artwork and it did not have the Highwind in it. It was just Aerith standing in a field. And we were looking back on the original artwork and we were like, this looks somewhat goofy. They have fixed that. They have went back and they re-rendered it. You can see the Highwind in clear detail here. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Real question is, will Aerith get to fly on it this time? That depends on which Final Fantasy VII Rebirth interview you read and how you read it. Please don't expect the game to deviate further from the original. That being said, please look forward to how it absolutely is. This is a lot of information and it's all really solid stuff. It gets me absolutely pumped for the game to read all of this. I know some of you are basically at the breaking point. You cannot take any more new information. You just want the game already. I'm getting there with you, but every time they deliver more news, I cave and I have to binge it all. Let me know what excites you most about this Square Enix blog post in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next video.